Get in on the action with Sports Interaction. We got the NBA and NHL conference finals and soon-to-be finals. Are you ready? Baseball in full swing.
Oh, that's what they do in baseball.
Yeah, that's right.
This guy.
Competitive odds, best live and play, and more ways to get into the game. Make your next bet with Sports Interaction. Head to sportsinteraction.com/STPN or download the app. 19 plus. Please play responsibly. Obviously, the news this morning is that Cole Caufield has signed a gigantic extension for an unbelievable price with the Montreal Canadiens. 8 years, $7.85 million. This is a fantastic deal for the Montreal Canadiens.
I hate that deal a big old bunch, which should tell you how good it is.
Why do you hate it, Steve?
Because it makes the Habs easily better and will allow them to compete for a long time.
Cole Caufield's career high in points is 43.
Yep. His career high in points is 43. His career high in goals is 26. He scored the least amount of goals of any 50 goal scorer in NHL history. But I mean, I'd love to chirp the guy. He's gonna get there.
Of course he is.
He's gonna get there. No problem. I got no worries about.
No,
that.
Can we just pretend that he's bad for a minute?
No.
So Steve, this is guy in
well, okay. Here, wait. Let me method act. I'm Dominic Ducharme.
Scratch this man.
He's gonna scratch
this man.
He's gonna go to Laval.
Steve, he's bad. He's a career minus 35 in 123 games.
That would probably put him as best Hab over the last 2 years.
Wow. Yeah.
No, he's great, man.
He is.
That's such a. But I was looking up his stats as soon as that deal got signed, and the funniest one that I came across has nothing to do with his NHL career. He scored 30 goals in 31 games at the University of Wisconsin the year before he joined the Habs. Any idea who was number 2 or what the second highest goal total on that team was?
I have no idea.
12.
Wow. Ooh. Ooh.
Holy shit.
Ooh.
Yeah, kid's a little good.
Kid's a little good.
He also has a brother named Brock Caufield who looks exactly like him, and I didn't know that. Brockfield, who plays with Carolina prospect Cruz Lucius.
That's such a great name.
Cruz Lucius. I thought it was Chaz Lucius. That would be even better.
That's the kind of name that if you're like talking to somebody at the bar and they're like, "What's your name?" And you're like, Cruz Lucius.
Cruz Lucius.
They're like, "No, what's your real name?"
Yeah,
they don't. You can't
see your ID.
Yeah. And if I saw that, if we were doing game over applications, and somebody sent in their name was Cruz Lucius, I'd be like, I think we have to throw this resume away. This person does not exist.
Okay, but what's on your health card?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, you break your leg, and you.
What? How do you sign your check?
Yeah, don't let me see Tom Johnson.
Yeah, right.
You don't call yourself Cruz Lucius and pull out Tom Johnson.
What do you think?
Old Tommy John.
Hey, listen, the Montreal Canadiens are going to be a team on the rise, and I think it's going to be hard for Leaf fans this year alone. Now,
I've been beating this drum a long time.
The Florida Panthers pick that they have, the Ben Sherrod pick, is falling precipitously. However, they still have 2 first-round picks. They've got 3 in the 4th and 2 in the 5th round. But they also have they've got some contracts that they need to move on from. Okay. So you got another 4 years of Josh Anderson.
I don't think they're gonna have a problem.
Now, why would Josh Anderson to me is annoying because people are like, he'd be a great Leaf. He's only good against the Leafs.
That's so.
So if you take that away from him, you're taking away his entire career.
That's so partially true.
Mike Hoffman, another year at $4.5 million.
Josh Anderson had 21 goals last year.
No, I know what Adam's saying. How many of those were against the Leafs?
Not all 21.
15.
Not all 21.
Man, okay.
And the year before, I believe he had 19.
Josh Anderson is tantalizing. He's got the size. He's got the hands sometimes. He's physical. The Leafs have guys who, or in throughout the Dubas era, had guys that were big for nothing.
A lot of big for nothing.
Who named some big for nothing guys? The first one in the
Hall's big for nothing.
Martin Marincin was big for nothing.
Yeah, big for nothing. Cody Ceci was big for nothing. Basically, everyone who they let play the right side. Engvall was big for nothing. Mikheyev was a little big for nothing. And like
He would
that's
go to the
not to
corner,
say
so.
that's not to say Mikheyev's a bad player.
Yeah.
It's just to say, you look at his height and weight and you go, oh, look how big he is. No. That doesn't factor into him as a player.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make him tougher or like harder to hit or something like that. Like, he's just big because he is.
Josh Anderson's contract's probably $2 million too rich. Maybe $1 million too rich.
Yeah.
But he's still a good player.
He's a good player.
Yeah.
And the thing is,
Serviceable.
Yeah.
the thing about Josh Anderson is he could be a great player. I really believe in that skill set.
I think when you're 29, you kind of are who you are in terms
know.
of a professional athlete. But
It's consistent.
I look at a player like Josh Anderson, I look at how these playoffs are going. I'm like, Josh Anderson would be amazing in these playoffs.
It's a copycat league, and I don't think there's an exec out there who's not looking at these playoffs and going, we need to get tougher.
In Montreal's run to the finals a couple years ago, he had 6 points in 22 games.
Yeah, but what's his impact per 60
Yeah,
for
and
being Josh Anderson?
And he also single-handedly won one of those games in the conference final.
Yeah.
Like, that's who he is. He's the best player on the ice or invisible.
That's the weird thing with Josh Anderson.
Yeah.
Now, I wondered with him, he has played for, like the Columbus teams that he played for were highly defensive. He also didn't get along great with Torts, but he had some good years there.
That's so weird. He's the only one.
Yeah, he's never scored over 50 points in his entire career in a season. I'm wondering, okay, what's Michael Bunting's number going to be at? Let me just ask you this.
Oh,
What do you think, 4.5, 5.5?
that's so tough. I feel like he spent a lot of money.
He's also going to get screwed by fucking Gary in the salary
Yeah,
cap.
because the salary cap's not going up.
So
We'll get to that.
nobody's going to be willing to give him the money that he should have been making. But I think it's a little shorter term deal for Bunting. Like, I don't think he does the Hyman.
Like a 3-year, $12 million, like $4 million.
Yeah, something like
that
that.
sound about right?
Doing 5 years at 3.5.
What do you take? Do you
Or
take
4 times 4?
Okay, do you take Bunting at that number that you guys just gave me? Either of your numbers. Okay,
I did the
like 4.
short. Steve did the long.
Okay. Do you take that for a guy who the last couple of years, 63 points in his first year as a Leaf, 49 last year, both times 23 goals? Do you take that, given that those numbers are slightly inflated because of who he's playing with, and I get that, but you have to be able to play with them. Do you take that, or do you make a trade for Josh Anderson? You get Bunting for free. It just costs you the money on the cap, or Josh Anderson, which I think you probably actually could get you might actually be able to get Josh Anderson for free too.
Are we doing the comparison? Because
I'm asking. I'm just asking winger wise because I want to go through
Talking
the
about the
Canadiens.
Leafs makes me tremendously depressed.
Why?
Well, just
I'm excited. Are you not excited?
I'm excited, but okay. Here's what it is. Dubas has been so predictable for so long, and now this new guy comes in, and I don't know what to think.
I'm excited. That's great.
No, it is exciting, but I'm usually able to go, okay, I think they're going to do this based on this, and this. And now I'm just like, I don't know.
so what would you do?
So I'm asking about who would you take? Would you take Josh Anderson at 5.5?
No,
For
Bunting,
4 more years, or Bunting?
Scarborough. Go Leafs.
But also player wise.
And also player-wise.
Okay, Jesse.
I think, because I think Josh Anderson's contract is a little too rich.
Rich,
but
right?
I think they're both serviceable players in different ways.
There's a deal to be made for Anderson, and I think it's going to involve 2 overpaid players who are still decent enough NHL players.
Or salary retention.
Yeah.
And then you get his contract down to kind of where it should be.
I wonder
I
if
don't know
Josh
if the
Anderson's
Habs-
a fit with the Leafs, honestly.
Do the Habs have a slot for...
Retained salary. Yeah, it doesn't look like they have anybody retained right now. So, yeah, they would have a slot. They just have Mr. Price on LTIR, and then they'll fix everything else come regular season. But, yeah, no retained salary, so they got a bunch of slots.
I wonder with a guy like Josh Anderson around at a salary retained thing, just slot him in on the Leafs for a second. Not that there's any link at all. There's no link at all. Please don't tweet this that there was a link and that I'm making things, whatever. But I see a guy like that, and you talk about single-handedly winning a conference final game on his own, right? Wouldn't he be great? Can't you see a Matthews, Marner, Anderson line that's formidable?
No.
You can't.
No, because I just can't. Here's what's screwing me up about this godforsaken hockey team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see that line tearing it up in the regular season, and then what?
Well, I'd like to see what the Matthews Marner line. We've never seen the Matthews and Marner line in the playoffs with size on their line.
Hyman.
That's not size.
He's a big guy.
No.
He's a big guy.
That's not what.
Well, what size?
Okay, no, I'm talking about size, and I'm talking about Zach Hyman's not going to throw bone-crushing hits. He's a fucking pain in the ass. He's a great player. He's a gritty player. He went and did all the dirty things, and I get all that.
He's a better player than Josh Anderson in every way, shape, and form.
For sure, and gets paid the same, I think.
And gets paid the exact same.
Yeah, 100%. But that's not what we're asking here. I'm asking about a guy who's and forgive the comparison here because there is no comparison, but he's like Tom Wilson light or much lighter.
That's what everyone thought when they were signing these deals, only to discover there's only one Tom Wilson.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, somebody's going to come along and be able to do what Tom Wilson does. Come on.
It ain't Josh Anderson.
Okay. All right.
It ain't him. It ain't him. I'm not.
So you're not willing to put it on the vision board?
I could see him getting traded back to Columbus.
Oh, do you think Babs would like him?
Of course.
Another guy I want to talk about is they got another year of Mike Hoffman's contract, $4.5 million. He's 33. He hasn't produced much since coming to the Canadiens. Like this guy used to be like a perennial 25 goal scorer.
That's a trade deadline move right there. Right?
I feels like it, doesn't it?
You're getting some sort of draft pick or prospect back at the trade deadline come 2024.
The issue with the Habs is you're going to have all these kids, but like you got to insulate them a bit, right? Like, so you got to have guys who can, push them up or down the lineup and can take some of the heat and do a little bit of the scoring when, because you don't want just a team full of rookies, right? Like even that team that we talk about all the time, 16, 17, Matthews, Marner, and Nylander, like they had all these vets. Right. So they've had so much injury trouble. I think they're going to hold on to Hoffman until, I think Jesse nailed it. Probably the trade deadline.
The one thing I find interesting about him is he feels like, and this is another former Canadian, Evgeny Dadonov, like all offense, nothing else. And there's a lot of teams going into the playoffs that it's like, well, we've got our power play figured out. That's why we're in the playoffs.
Every coach thinks they're smart. I can insulate that player. We need goal scoring. Which the fact that we need goal scoring is not my fault because I'm smart.
Okay.
And we bring in this player who can goal score.
Yeah.
But he can't defend. But I can hide the fact that he can defend because I'm smart. Even though we can't score, it's not my fault because I'm smart.
That's right.
It's said every NHL coach.